Today, we are diving deep into a part of your body you probably don't think about much, but it's fighting battles for you 24/7. We're talking about the lymphatic system. Let's go explore this hidden river and see exactly how it keeps you healthy. You know that feeling, right? You're starting to feel a little under the weather. And then you notice it, that tender, swollen feeling in your neck. We call them swollen glands. But what's really going on in there? Well, the answer is the key to this entire hidden network. So what is the system? Basically, think of it like this. You have your blood circulatory system, which is like a high-speed freeway. The lymphatic system is a parallel network, but it's more like the city's sanitation and security service all rolled into one. It's constantly cleaning up the neighborhood and looking for trouble. Okay, so to really get how this whole defense system works, you gotta meet the key players, the boots on the ground doing all the work. It all starts with the fluid itself, which is called lymph. Just imagine a little bit of the plasma from your blood seeping out to bring nutrients to all your cells. Well, once that fluid is out there, in the space between the cells, the lymphatic system picks it up. It's now full of cellular junk, yeah, but more importantly, it's carrying our immune system's frontline soldiers, these amazing cells called lymphocytes. So all this lymph fluid has to get back into your blood somehow, and it does that through two main pipes. You've got the right lymphatic duct, which is pretty small. It only handles the upper right part of your body. But then look at the thoracic duct. This thing is an absolute superhighway. It drains the lymph from pretty much everywhere else. It is, by far, the biggest lymphatic vessel in your body. And this right here, this brings us back to those swollen glands. These are your lymph nodes. Think of them as thousands of little security checkpoints scattered all over your body. Every drop of lymph is forced to flow through them, and inside, they trap all the bad guys. Bacteria, viruses, you name it. If we could zoom into one of these nodes, you'd see it's like a highly organized military base. In the outer zone, the cortex, you've got B cells. They're like the intelligence unit, identifying threats. A little deeper, in the paracortex, you've got the T cells. These are the frontline soldiers that go and attack the threats. And way in the middle, in the medulla, you've got plasma cells, which are like tiny factories, just churning out the antibodies you need to win the war. Of course, the lymph nodes aren't working alone. You have to think of the whole system. The primary organs, that's your bone marrow and thymus, they're the basic training grounds where immune cells are born and get educated. Then you have the secondary organs, like the lymph nodes, your spleen, and even your tonsils. These are the actual battlefields where the immune response happens. Now, the spleen is a really cool organ because it's a serious multitasker. And get this, it filters your blood, not your lymph. Part of it, the white pulp, acts like a giant lymph node for your bloodstream, just screening for invaders. But then the other part, the red pulp, is the body's ultimate recycling center. It finds old, worn-out red blood cells and breaks them down. So we have this whole incredible network of pipes, filters, and organs. But what are the big jobs it's actually doing for you every single minute of every single day? It really comes down to three huge jobs. First, fluid balance. Get this, about 3 liters of fluid leaks out of your blood and into your tissues every day. If the system didn't collect it and return it, you'd literally swell up like a balloon. Second, and this is the big one we've been talking about, immunity. It's your surveillance network. And third, something you might not expect, fat absorption. Special little vessels in your gut called lacteals are absolutely essential for absorbing fats from your diet. So how does all this fluid actually get around? Well, it's a pretty amazing one-way trip, from the far reaches of your body all the way back to your heart. So the whole journey starts when a little bit of plasma leaks out from your smallest blood vessels, the capillaries, to deliver all the good stuff to your cells. At this point, the fluid is just hanging out between the cells. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Unlike your blood vessels, which are a closed loop, the lymphatic vessels start as these tiny, dead-end streets. They have these little one-way flaps that let the fluid in, but they don't let it back out. As soon as it's inside, boom, it's officially called lymph. Now, here's the craziest part. There's no heart to pump this stuff around. So how does it move? You do. Every time you move your muscles, every time you breathe, you are squeezing these vessels and pushing the lymph along. And on its journey, it gets pushed through several of those lymph node checkpoints for inspection. Finally, at the end of its long journey, after it's been cleaned and filtered, all that lymph gets dumped back into your bloodstream. This happens right near your heart, in the big veins just under your collarbones. And just like that, the cycle is complete. So the system is amazing when it works. But What happens when this carefully balanced network breaks down or gets blocked? Well, the results can be pretty serious. When things go wrong, you feel it. Lymphadenopathy, that's just the fancy medical term for those swollen glands. They often feel tender if you have an infection, but it's really crucial to note they can feel hard and not hurt at all if it's something more serious, like a malignancy. If drainage gets totally blocked, you can get lymphedema, which is this chronic, painful swelling. And maybe most importantly, cancer cells can actually hijack these lymphatic vessels as a highway to spread or metastasize all over the body. It's just such a powerful reminder that this silent, invisible network is working so hard for us. We really only notice it when something goes wrong, but our health absolutely depends on it. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's just take a second and boil it all down to the absolute key things you need to remember from all this. Look, if you walk away with anything, remember this. The lymphatic system is your body's plumber and security guard. Its big three jobs are balancing fluid, fighting infection, and absorbing fat. The lymph nodes are the all-important filters. The spleen handles the blood, and if this system breaks down, it can lead to some really serious problems. So the next time you feel that little swelling in your neck, you'll know it's your hidden army jumping into action. And it kind of leaves us with a final thought, right? Knowing that this entire system has no pump of its own, that it relies on your movement to work, are your daily habits helping to keep this hidden river flowing?